Hello, this is Julian from Twin Flame Love. Have you met a person that instantly changed your whole life after the first meeting? And even though you have the feeling that you are meant to be together, it just doesn't seem to work out between you? Do you suffer a lot because there doesn't seem to be any progression, maybe even for years? Then this webinar is just perfect for you. In this webinar, I will dive deeper into the 5 soul wounds we can suffer from and the 5 fitting masks we put on to cover our wounds. Even though it is not easy for us to admit it, the most of us still have wounds inside them that keep us from living out our true self. But the truth is that the love of your life will only put the masks down if you did already. Why this is the case and how to overcome the wounds is what you will learn in this webinar. My name is Julian, and my passion is, since I met my own twin flame and I went through this fascinating process with a lot of suffering also. Um, since I mastered this, my total passion is to pass on the knowledge that I gained. And after I mastered the process, it just was so clear to me that I want to help others master this process as well. So that's when I started a German website on Twin Flames at first. That was like 2 years ago, and 1 year ago I started an English version on Twin Flames because my vision that drives me is that I want to help twin flames all around the world reunite, do my best to pass on my knowledge and help them with overcoming their wounds with therapy sessions and so on. And my latest goal just came true. I'm going to um, do a 4-day retreat on Hawaii in November. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to. That's like the next step for me. And it's gonna be like 200 people from all around the world, and it's gonna be such a great energy and progress. And I'm really looking forward to this. And yeah, my vision is also letting me do this webinar today, because today you're going to learn more about the wounds of the soul and what they have to do with twin flames. Because I figured out in my work um, that certain wounds of our soul tend to let's say haunt the chaser in the twin flames connection, so the one who is practically left behind, um, often by the male. um, and there are certain wounds that tend to mm, be inside the runner, the one who tends to run from the feelings. And this is like the typical twin flame dynamic. So we are going to talk about the wounds of the soul today, and you're going to understand more and more how this is connected between twin flames and what you can do to overcome your wounds and to master the twin flame path um, for good, because it's basically in your hands to master this thing and build the foundation for a functioning relationship. I'm not promising to anybody that you're definitely gonna live this love with your twin flame, but I'm promising that it is in your hands to build this foundation that the love can work. Because as you probably already know, your twin flame will always be the closest mirror you can get on this earth. So if there's still a wound of rejection inside of you, your twin flame has basically no other choice than mirroring this wound back to you by actually rejecting you. So it is very, very important that we overcome our own wounds so that the mirror can change, you know? So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna start a little presentation on the wounds of the soul. And after you got this knowledge, we're gonna do like a live practice where we're going to start to overcome the first wounds or take steps towards overcoming that. So that's basically what we're going to do today. And if there's still some time left, I'm going to show you a really amazing interview I did with a twin flame couple. So it depends how long we're gonna take for the first part. And if there's still some time left, I'm definitely gonna show you this interview. So if you are ready, we would just start out. Just gonna start the presentation right now. So today we're going to talk about how to overcome the wounds to basically build the foundation that the relationship between you and your twin flame can actually work. So when we start talking about the soul wounds, it's good to know where we actually come from as souls. And the thing is, we as souls come from like the spiritual world where we have the feeling of oneness and we have full awareness of our being. And then we experience us in the material world as humans. And we go through the experience of separation when we incarnate in a life as a human being. And what then happens is that our soul grows with each incarnation, with each life on earth that we have. And it takes really a lot of incarnations for our soul to mature and to get to a point where we find back to the oneness in ourselves as a human being. And that's basically where we finish our incarnation cycle or circle, I don't know, and can go back as one, basically. So we are making the experience of separation and unconsciousness. And it starts in early childhood, where we learn that we are only loved and accepted with a certain behavior. And we learn really early to suppress certain parts of our being. And that's the one part. And the other part is that we actually experience some deep wounds. And that's when after the first years already, we suppress more and more parts of our feelings. And that's basically when there's only a small part of our true self left. And then what happens is, like, destiny has something special in store for us when we as a soul are quite mature yet. Destiny lets us meet ourself in the material world. And this is described, or this is called twin flame. Because when you meet your twin flame, you basically see everything that's missing you to be one again, basically coming to your true self again, you see in the other part. And that's basically the reason why this connection is so strong, is so larger than life, basically, because the other person has everything that you need to come back to this oneness, and that's the goal, since all your incarnations. So that explains why you are never able to forget this person again, and it's just beyond time, beyond space, this connection and love. So what your soul wants is not that you are dependent on your twin flame to feel this oneness. The goal of your soul is to first find the oneness inside yourself again, and then the relationship or your soul gives permission to live out this love in a relationship. So that you as twin flames separate is totally in line with your soul. This is wanted for you to develop into this frequency, this high frequency, and this feeling of oneness. So that's basically a really great concept of life, when you ask me. But it's not always easy to look at this way, because it's so painful. So that's basically the background of it. And now we're going to look at the 5 wounds of the soul. And this is a theory founded by the psychologist Lise Bourbeau. She's a French woman, really famous, and she wrote certain books. And some books are, like I said, of the wounds of the soul. And this woman found out that there are basically 5 different wounds of the soul a human being can suffer from, and 5 fitting wounds we put on to basically secure ourselves from these wounds and have the feeling that we can function in the real world with these masks. So what I found out in my work is that there are certain wounds that most of the chasers in twin flames, so basically the chasers are the ones who are left behind by most of the time it's the man who runs from the feelings, and the woman is left behind. That's like 80% of the time. This is the case with twin flames. There are certainly some other situations as well, but this is like 80%. And like I said, I discovered that there are certain wounds that tend to be like in the chaser, and there are certain wounds that tend to be in the runner. And what I found out is that only if you as a chaser overcome your own wounds, your twin flame runner is able to at first like feel the wound and then overcome it. And I'm going to explain you why this is the case. So at first you're going to see like an overview of the 5 wounds and the different masks. So the first wound a human being can have is the wound of rejection and the mask of escape. Like the second wound is the wound of abandonment and the mask of dependence. And the 4th wound is the wound of betrayal and the mask of control. And the 4th wound is the wound of humiliation and the mask of compliance. And the 5th wound, I don't know why it's not on the list right now, but it's just an overview. I'm going to click right through it and you will see. So the first wound is the wound of rejection, and this is a typical wound the chaser in twin flames has. And the typical mask when you have a wound of rejection is escape, because if you have a fear that you are going to be rejected, it's such a fear inside of you that the only thing you can hide from this fear is to actually escape from the situation. And these are people that tend to, if the attention is on them, basically when they hold a speech or they're in a large group of people, they tend to like hide from it. They try to run from this situation, and if they can, they literally run from it, and if they can't, they just escape like inside themselves. They hide themselves in a like a dream world. Sometimes they dream themselves away from the situation, just that they um not being in danger of being rejected. And the amazing thing is, with the wounds of the soul, that you can read the wound on the body. So maybe you try to look at it from your perspective and see, oh, maybe there's a wound inside of me as well. When I look at these pictures, maybe you find yourself, maybe, and this is a great chance for you to be aware of a wound and then to overcome it. So yeah, the body of these people are thin, and the body parts often don't seem to fit together. And the when you overcome the wound of rejection, you are able to feel self-love again. These people have problems with self-love and with like confidence. And when it comes to twin flames, the runner at first has always the other part, the chaser, under control, because when you have the wound of rejection, like in this example, inside yourself, you're not able to set healthy boundaries towards your twin flame, because you have the fear, oh, maybe I'm not too good enough, he's going to reject me, and he's going to be with another woman, and I have to be around him all the time, because otherwise he will probably find another person, because I'm not that precious. So that's the basic or the basic thinking of a chaser with the wound of rejection. So if you overcome the wound, you're basically much more confident about yourself. You have this self-worth inside of you, this self-love, and then you'll be able to set boundaries, of course, because you say, okay, I love you, but if you have 3 women on the side and still are married, then it's just too hurtful for me, and I'm way better than that. So please figure it out and come back to me when you overcame it. So that's a major key here. And I'm going to explain you how this plays in the role of, or the wounds of the runner. So the next wound of the, or typical chaser wound, is the wound of abandonment. And the mask is the mask of dependence. So the body of someone who has this wound is typically like slim, long, and weak, like you see in the picture, like weak legs and long arms. And you basically can see from the body that this person is like dependent. Mm, and basically it's self-explaining. If you have the fear of being abandoned or being alone, you're definitely going to act dependent towards other persons, because if you act strong and like tend to say no, you're basically in danger of actually being left behind from a person. And if you have the wound and the fear of being alone and so on is so strong, that you're not going to act strong and say no and set boundaries towards other persons. So this wound is basically like another major key to overcome when it comes to twin flames, because at first you're definitely um, under under the control of the runner. He tends to to run from you and then contact you every 3 months, and you're so afraid of losing him forever that you're basically in for everything he suggests. So no matter if he lied to you, no matter if he has affairs beside you, you tend to be down with everything he does, because this fear of being alone and being abandoned is so strong that you just can't act differently. When you overcome this wound, then you are like feeling comfortable in being alone, and you know you're independent, and that's when everything changes, because you'll be able to also set these boundaries, and boundaries are a major key when it comes to twin flames. And that's the point where everything changes, because you are basically then ready to tell your twin flame, okay, I love you, but if you act this way, I'm really better off without you, because it's so painful for me, your behavior. And then there is this boundary I was talking about. And now I'm coming to the wounds that tend to be in the runner, and I'm going to explain you how it plays really together with you as the chaser. So the wound of betrayal is really almost in every runner. It's the typical runner wound, and the mask of control is the fitting mask to this wound. And these people show their power with their body, and they have this typical direct and seductive look inside their eyes. And if you have the wound of betrayal, that's basically this wound is created in early childhood as well. And with this wound, the child has no other chance than totally suppress their feelings, because these experiences were so painful that they are just shutting their feelings completely down and go into their mind. They tend to really control everything, and they really have some trust issues, and they always try to take control over situation. And if there's someone nice to them, they still try to find something which proves to them that they are not trustworthy. So they are really control freaks, and this wound is nearly in every runner. And now it's like really important for you to listen, because if you have still your wounds of rejection and abandonment inside of you, your twin flame will always be in control, because he knows on the inside, and he knows from like when he's in contact with you, that he could have you every time he wants. And he is not a bad person, but because of his wounding, his ego like suggests him the strategy of control. And every time he starts to miss you, like every time feelings tend to show up, his ego tries to calm him down by getting control again. So he's gonna write you after a few months, how you doing, some superficial stuff, and you reply, and you play his game, and then he's gonna drop you off again. Not because he's a bad person, but his ego is calmed down, and then he's imagining himself, oh, I got a few more months left to basically face my fears of feelings and love. And yeah, she's still available. So he's not going to look at this wound, because he's still in control, and he's not going to put that mask down if he doesn't have to. So if you overcome your wounds and be able to build up these boundaries, then on a really down-to-earth level, your twin flame has to make a decision. And the decision is, he has the choice whether he's going to face his fears of love and so on, or he's probably going to lose you forever. And that's the point where everything changes. You are going to feel better and better and better, because in healthy boundaries, there is true letting go happening. Because if you really integrated your healthy boundaries, you're not going to suffer when when you like a person, but the person is not behaving to you properly, because you know, okay, it doesn't matter if I like him, I'm not going to let this person in my life because it's going to be too painful. And you act out of self-love and build up healthy boundaries, and you're not going to suffer. And that's where true letting go happens. And you're going to feel better and better in this process, and your twin flame is really forced to finally face his feelings. And he's not going to do that like he doesn't want to do that. So he basically will fight against his feelings and try to be under control until the end. But the amazing thing is that you as twin flames share like one energy field. And at first, when you as the chaser really suffer a lot, people explain to me that they don't even have the energy to live their normal daily life because they just suffer so much, and they feel this loss of energy. And the amazing thing is that you are not only losing your energy, you are losing your energy to your twin flame. And your twin flame has basically the power of 2 at first, and he gets your energy and he uses this energy to really run and fight against his feelings. So what happens when you overcome your wounds and be able to set this healthy boundaries, your twin flame is not going to get any more energy of you. And that's when everything changes. Okay, maybe now it becomes clear why it is so important that you overcome your own wounds. So another wound is the wound of humiliation. And the fitting mask is the mask of compliance. The body tends to be like thick, round, little, and a round and open face. So when you are afraid of being humiliated, you behave really compliant to another person. These are typical persons that when you're sitting on the table eating, they are asking you like 10 times if you want another cup of coffee. And they would say to you, I'm only trying to be nice. But the truth is, they trying to be under control of the situation with their compliant behavior, because they don't want to be in danger of being humiliated. Yeah. So it's actually not a loving gesture, even if they want to make you believe it. It's more like out of the mind, a control behavior to not be in danger of being humiliated. So these people also tend to be really mind driven. They not allowing themselves to feel. And yeah, that's also a wound that tend to have many runners tend to have this wound. But it can be that you as a chaser see yourself in this wound as well. And the last wound is the wound of injustice, and the fitting wound is the mask of rigidity. And like you see in the picture, the body is stiff and steady, and This wound also tends to happen like in early childhood. An, an example for this wound would be maybe if you as a child have some brothers and sisters, and your brothers and sisters are always getting dessert from your parents and you are not, then the wound of injustice is increasing or is created inside yourself, and you build up this mass of rigidity. And um, this wound is very often also found in the runner. Um, Maybe some of you experience that when you try to have a discussion with your twin flame, speak about things that are maybe not that easy to talk about. They really tend to shut down from this and be in this rigidity mode, and that's also a typical wound. So this was like an overview of the 5 soul wounds. And as I already explained, it is so important that you overcome your wound first, because when you are the chaser in the twin flame connection, you are basically in the driver's seat. Only you go in front, and your twin flame can only always follow your progression. And like I said, if he's still in control over things, he won't change. So I really had some clients that basically were in this devil's circle for 20 years. And it's really sad to hear from me, because these clients were never able to break this devil's circle by healing their own wounds. They were too afraid of feeling the wound of maybe abandonment and behaving dependent. And their counterpart, the twin flame, was always like in control over 20 years. And that's when nothing changes basically, because the runner will run forever if he has the energy to. So it's basically in your hands to change this journey for the better if you overcome your wounds. And the good thing about all this is that, first of all, I'm going to talk about this. That's a nice sentence, because the truth is that you're not going to build out wings if you have no roots. So when you as a human being want to go forward in life and maybe live out your talents, follow your purpose in life, you're not going to be able to do so and not going to succeed until you overcome your wounds and build up these roots. Because if you overcome your wounds, you're automatically going to build up roots and basically reconnect with your true self. And what then happens is that you overcome basically your ego, find back to the oneness and roots, and that's when you really going to build out wings and are able to move forward. And that's another interesting thing with twin flames, because at the beginning, twin flames are basically like opposite. So when you are left from your twin flame, you're totally in the female energy. You feel these feelings, this love, day in and day out, and you're definitely exhausted, and you're just sitting in this female energy. And your other part, the twin flame, he's sitting in the male energy all the time in the beginning. He's running, he's constantly in his mind, pushing you away inside and just focusing on work or other stuff. And the goal is that twin flames in the journey just switch sides completely for one time. So your task is to basically go higher and higher on the ladder to the male energy, and your energy level is going to rise with each wound you overcome and with each goal you follow. And this picture explains what basically your tasks are. You need to overcome these wounds and then basically go into the male energy, go forward and use your wings, basically find your purpose and follow it. So that's very important. And the good news is, the amazing thing is that no matter where your beliefs and negative emotions and basically also your wounds come from, they always show up in the present moment, because the present moment is everything there is. And that's where we can transform them with the right techniques. And that's why your twin flame is such a gift to you, because he, like no one else, can bring up these old wounds and then you can overcome them. And the key to it is consciousness. So from now on, please recognize your life as a mirror and be aware which beliefs and emotions show up inside of you. And then you can overcome them. And one other amazing thing is that our beliefs and suppressed emotions are stored in our meridian system as basically like gaps. So every time, this starts in early childhood, every time we experience a feeling that is too painful to actually feel in the moment, we suppress it. And then our ego is created with the mission to basically secure us from these pains we are not thinking we can handle. And only if we integrate those suppressed feelings again, we can overcome that and return back to our true self. And that's when techniques like emotional field therapy really kicks in, because those techniques can transform suppressed feelings and beliefs like in an instant and really, really deeply, because the gap in the system is immediately closed and we automatically reconnect with our true self. Because negative emotions can only last inside ourselves until we integrate them. For example, if we really live out our fear, if we become one with our fear and integrate it, it automatically transforms into trust, or hate will transform into forgiveness. And that's the amazing thing. And that's when techniques like emotional field therapy really kick in. And that's basically what I'm working with as a therapist with my clients. And I'm really experiencing great progress in a really short period of time with my clients. And I work with people who met their twin flame all around the world via Skype. And if you want to work with me, you can go to my website. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now, so you can already click on it. Then a new window will open up, and you're not going to be kicked out of the webinar. Just a new window will open up, and you can look at my work later on, and then book a session with me. And I'm pretty sure that I definitely can help you overcome your wounds. So I really hope that you liked my video on the wounds of the soul. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have the feeling that you need some help on overcoming your own wounds of the soul, you can work with me. You can find the link to my work in the description on this video. And what I want you to do right now is listen to my new podcast, It's the #1 podcast on Twin Flames on iTunes. So please click the link to my podcast in the description also, and see you in the next video.